So we have seen all these things previously. Okay. So we will see when you switch on your phone, right, all the way till your home screen coming into picture, how or what is actually happening in the background. Okay. So the first and foremost thing is, as with any Linux systems, right, the first step is your Linux kernel will get started. Okay. As with any Linux systems, your first Linux kernel will get started. Then there will be a process called init process that will actually get started. After your init process, there will be three different things that are getting started simultaneously. The first thing are the different types of daemons. What are daemons? You may have different daemons like your Bluetooth daemon, GSM daemon, GPRS daemon, camera daemon, and all of them, which are really useful to start your or initialize your hardware process. And then your Android runtime will start, and it will also start a process called Zygote. What is Zygote? Zygote is the first process that is actually getting started, and that is responsible for starting all the other components within your framework. So first thing, Linux daemons. There may be a number of daemons that will actually get started, like USB daemon, Android debugger page, debugger daemon, radio interface layer daemon, and a number of other stuff. Zygote process. This is the nascent process or the first process that will actually get started, which initializes the Dalvik virtual machine. And after that, it will load all the classes and listeners and spans a number of VM instances. And this is basically responsible for starting your entire framework and your core libraries. Your runtime is your Android framework's runtime that initializes your service manager. The service manager will go ahead and start all your services. If you look at this in detail, what happens is something like this. So you have your init process, starting daemons, runtime, Zygote. Zygote is starting your Dalvik virtual machine. The Dalvik virtual machine is starting your system server. If you remember our old class, right, your blue color denotes Java, your green color denotes core libraries and all that stuff. So why do you need Dalvik virtual machine? Because your system server is an Android framework component. And for this framework component, which is written in Java to run, you need your Dalvik virtual machine, right? So you have it here. And this again starts a number of core library components, like your audio filter, surface filter, a number of all the core library components, and all of these are getting attached to your service manager. So at the end of the day, what happens is you have your Dalvik virtual machine, you have your system server, all the core library components are started, and all the framework components are started. Right? Init process, all your hardware related daemons are running, your runtime is running, your Zygote is ready. Correct? All your framework components are running and all your core libraries are running. When everything is running, the next step is to launch your home screen application. The next step is to launch your home screen application. And as we discussed, every application in Android runs in its own process. So init is running in its own process. Then all the daemon processes are running in their own process. Runtime is running. Your Zygote is running in your own process. And there is a system server that has all the core library components and all the framework components. And to run these framework components, you have an instance of dynamic virtual. And then your zygote will create a process for the home screen application with an instance of its own dynamic virtual machine. Now your phone is completely ready and your home screen application is there. From the home screen application, say you pressed on your contacts application. What will happen? When you click on your contacts application, a new process will be created because contacts is a new application, and for the contacts application, it will have its own instance of your dynamic virtual machine, and your contacts application will be running in its own process. Okay. Now from home screen, let us say we launched media player. Then what will happen? Instead of contacts here, a process will be created for your media player application. An instance of Dalvik virtual machine will be created, and your media player application will be running in its own process. That's the simple component that we have. Okay. So if somebody asks you what will happen during the boot up of the phone, then or the questions can be in terms of how will home screen application come into picture, or how will an application start, or something like that. Then what's the process? Linux kernel will start your init process. Init process will start a number of tables, runtime, zygote. Zygote is a nascent process, or the first process that will actually start. The zygote will start a number of core libraries and the framework components, and once all the core libraries and framework components are available, then your home screen application will start in its own process with its own instance of Dalvik virtual machine. From home screen, when you start a new application, then what will happen? A new process will be created for the application with its own instance of Dalvik virtual machine. As simple as that. Okay? Got my point? And then, how is the first activity of the application recognized? From home screen, I pressed contacts. Contacts application came. But how is the first activity of the contacts application recognized? From your manifest.xml file. In your manifest.xml file, if you put the category of the intent filter as launcher, then it will automatically recognize it as the first activity of the application. Got my point? So, this is one topic that I actually missed. And what else did we miss?